Hi, everybody. As promised, I made you a separate video that is going to walk you through specifically how to use the literature databases for this assignment, since at least one of your 3+, you can certainly have more, database sources for this essay needs to be from a literature database. So I've linked to the place to go for that to make it easy for you. And there's a bunch here, but there's definitely a few that I think would be more helpful for what you're doing. They're all worth a try for sure. Bloom's Literary Reference Online is great. I can't guarantee it will be a good one for you, but I always like to check first. So let's say you want some information on, let's say you want to try to find an article on a specific poem, okay, or a specific short story. No guarantee there'll be an entire article or articles dedicated to that one piece of literature, but it's always worth a look. So, for instance, if I tried The Whipping by Robert Hayden poem, a lot of people talked about that on the discussion boards. So for those of you who decide you might want to write your essay about it, okay, so there's a play about that. There's, okay. Let's try criticism. Oh, look at that. I think I might need to narrow my search. So if I put The Whipping and Robert Hayden specifically, excuse me, let's see what happens. Okay, so there are no articles specifically about that poem in here. There might be in some of the other databases. It's always worth looking. However, there is an article about Robert Hayden as an author and his background, which could be super helpful and definitely applicable. We've got another source here about Robert Hayden, his work. All right, so yeah, if we did just Robert Hayden, I think we'd probably get more since he's a pretty famous poet. Let's see. Yeah, lots more. Lots and lots about Robert Hayden. Not about that one poem, but that's okay. So, pretty good start so far. Worth a look. Again, you might get lucky and your poem or short story. I bet Joyce Carol Oates is in here. Where are you going? There it is. Okay, cool. Yeah. So there are articles that are specifically analyzing this one story. This one's about just the one character, Arnold Friend, who, if you read the story, if you know, you know. So yeah, there's one on Connie. Lots and lots of good stuff. So just because you don't get discouraged if you can't find a source that is just about your poem or just about your story and dedicated solely to that. It doesn't mean you should give up and run away. I get a lot of questions about that. You're just going to have to get a little bit more creative and, again, find stuff about their work as an author in general that you can apply to this particular piece that they wrote. So Bloom's Literature, good place to check first. Another really good one, if you go to Gale Literature. This one's great because you can do it by person. So this would be the author. You can do it by work. So this would be like the poem or the play or the short story. Okay, so if you wanted to find stuff about that person, like biographical stuff, which you can totally bring in to your argument if you feel like it's relevant. If you wanted to find out stuff about Sherman Alexie, for example, if you wanted to talk about poem Capital Punishment, knowing his background is pretty helpful. He also wrote Black Guy of the Month Club, for those of you who talked about that last thematic unit. Sherman Alexie's Drunken Indians. Interview with Sherman Alexie, that could be useful. Teaching of Native American literature. So there's a lot of reviews of other things that he's written. Some of it might be useful. Some of it might not be. But that's literature criticism, though. If you go to biographies, this is going to be stuff about his life and his work as a poet, author, young adult novelist, which if you liked Black Guy of the Month Club, that's actually part of a larger young adult novel called The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian. So good. Highly recommend it no matter what age you are. This is topic and work overviews. This would be stuff that is about like specific pieces that he's written, like this book, Reservation Blues, whatever. But not seeing anything about that one. There's the True Diary Part-Time Indian. Anyway, capital punishment though, probably not there. Not a big deal. It's okay. Don't give up. Just you can get stuff about his work in general and apply. Okay. So if you do a work search, this is where you would look for, again, a specific poem, short story, whatever. Let's say you pick Trifles by Susan Glasswell from the plays. It's a one-act play. Okay, so now it's just taking me to stuff that is specifically about the play. Okay. But here's something about Susan Glasswell as well, an article about her. So worth a look. Topic and work overviews are typically like focused just on the piece of literature more in depth. But those are two good ways to do your searches. So give that a try. What else is good? Literary Reference Center is EBSCO's, just it's basically just saying like I understand about privacy stuff. I don't think there's anything sketchy in here. You're just agreeing to stuff. Read it if you feel you must. Okay, here we are. Same kind of thing. It's just the other one we looked at, it was a Gale database. This one's EBSCO, so the formatting is going to be a little bit different. Everyone's got their preferred way. I like Gale. Other people like EBSCO. It's like Coke and Pepsi, I guess. Let's see if we looked up Samuel by Grace Paley, just for fun. So what I would do is put in Samuel and Grace Paley, not Samuel by Grace Paley. Because when you put an and between two things, it's going to show you results that have this thing and this thing. Not necessarily in the order in which you typed all the stuff in. It's looking for both of those things, and it's only going to show you stuff that has both of those things in it somewhere. So that can help narrow down your results. No, that didn't work out too well. I wonder if Grace Paley is in here in general. Yep, there she is. So these are entire books. You can narrow down the type of source you get. You might want an entire book, but I'd probably be more inclined to do something like a literary criticism article. Literary criticism just means it's just basically what you're doing with your analysis. It's just these people are professionals who are doing it. So these can be helpful to provide support for what you're talking about because you can bring in some experts. Grace Paley's stories. Wonder if that has Samuel in it. Only one way to find out. But I don't have time for that. So this one can be good too. Again, it's not my personal favorite, but some students tell me they got really good results from it. So give it a shot. This one is specifically related to poetry if you're working with a poem. So that can be good. And yeah, those are the ones that I would recommend. JSTOR can be good. It's kind of hit or miss for me. It's really more humanities, social sciences, that kind of stuff than it is, but it does have some literature stuff. This is what we used when I was in college. That's how long it's been around. This was like the only place to get journal articles online. Back when I was in college, it was a whole different world than it is for you. So we used it a lot, but it's definitely not as easy to use as the other ones, and the results don't tend to be as on point as some of these other ones. But you never know. Could be something good in there. Always worth a look. So give these a try. And again, the type of source support that you bring in from these, it can vary. And it can be biographical information about the writer. It can be critical analysis of the particular work, if you can find it. Again, critical doesn't mean like negative stuff. It just means that it's looking at it very closely and breaking it down in really close terms like you are. Literary analysis, basically. Or it can be, if you can't find this, sorry, hard luck, but it can be about the author's or the poet's work in general as a writer, and how, you can apply that to the specific situation. So like if you found something that talked about Sherman Alexie's, background as a Native American author and like influences on that, you could totally apply something like that to specifically the poem on our reading list, Capital Punishment. Even though that article may not have been about that poem, it still applies. So kind of more general stuff. And just apply it to specific situations. That's logic, right? Deductive versus inductive. But yeah, if you are struggling to find stuff, just let me know. Anytime a student tells me there's nothing at all in the databases, can I please not use the databases? Can I Google stuff? If I'm great things through Google, I'm like, I'm so sorry, but no. And I guarantee you there is stuff in there because you're not the first students I've had to do this assignment, and I know it can be done. It may just be a little bit more, we may just need to kind of pivot in the approach to finding stuff, and I'm happy to pitch in. Don't wait too late to ask me for help, but if you've tried and you're ready to throw in the towel, don't throw in the towel. Reach out to me first, and I love a challenge when it comes to research. So if you need anything, let me know. Okay. Another video in the mix coming soon. Bye.